Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Happy Monday to you all. Well, guys, we have 1 week, just a little over a week before Christmas. I didn't realize time has gone so fast, guys. Wow, this year went by so quick. Um, it's amazing to me. It's like, wow, because I was thinking like I had another additional week of work, but actually, Christmas is next Thursday. Wow. So I'm like sitting here like, wow, okay. Before you know it, we will be in 2026. Guys, make sure you are making goals that you know you can keep and keep self care and take care of yourself. You know, the more you self care, the more that you feel better. You know, take time out daily for yourself, an hour, 2 hours, three if necessary. Do you guys. Don't let anyone ever tell you or distract you from loving yourself or choosing yourself because it's not narcissistic. What's narcissistic is to be in love with yourself. You know, there's a difference between loving yourself to the point of self care, you know, instead of being in love with yourself. So, guys, I hope you guys had a great weekend. I got some rest, much needed rest, and I'm learning. It takes me time, but I'm learning because I work so much to just take time out, and it felt good to rest. You know, guys, because I come back feeling rejuvenated, and you know. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing these videos because I'm noticing more and more people are stopping by to hear the message. And that makes me know that these messages are resonating with you. This is not made up stories or anything. This is my life of personal situations that I actually went through. And before we get into this message today, guys, I want to talk about something because some people who are hell bent on creating drama, toxicity, you name it, everything negative, will say, oh, she's making this up or she's saying this, she's got this rehearsed. No, this is what really happened to me. I have no time for lies or BS. I've really healed the areas in my life that needed to be healed. And healing is an ongoing process, you know, on a daily basis. You know, you never stop healing, but the pain, the deep, deep rooted pain, I was able to address the elephant in a room. And it took time. It took me 5 years to get to this point where I am today, to get to a point of self love, to get to the point to raise up my self esteem, to get to the point to self care and to experience inner peace where I'm unbothered by the noise and nonsense, you know, and I take care of myself. And it doesn't matter what other people think. Because if we're not okay physically or mentally, we can't help ourselves or nothing around us. And that's the bottom line. So, one example I want to give, I'm pretty sure many of you have watched the movie The Color Purple. I'm not sure how many times you've seen it, but I've seen it several times. And, you know, when I look at that movie and I see people emphasizing that, you know, the woman in question is unattractive and blah, blah, and etc. While everyone was zooming in on that, I was zooming in on the abuse. Because the abuse level of what she had to deal with all her life is basically a lot similar to what I had to do. Not as bad, but close enough. You know, all my life, abuse, negativity, telling me I'm not worth nothing, never going to be anything, etc., and so forth. And, you know, endured a lot of bullying, being chased home from school because I was different. Instead of joining gangs and being an outcast, I was busy, you know, reading books and doing other things, research and stuff like that. I've always walked to a different beat of the drum, and I was always ostracized for it. And the least I am today, I don't have time for it. And when people want to bring toxicity, negativity to my door, and one of the things is malicious lies. which I go into deep prayer and fasting with God about. Because people, let me tell you about malicious lies. When someone do not like the new you, especially when you start to heal, grow, and evolve, and you start to help others do the same and let them know that they can make their own decisions. They don't have to be trapped in the toxicity. People who are the abusers get upset. And sometimes, especially with ex-partners and family members and stuff, and they see you're serious and that you're not returning to the toxicity. You've had enough. You're done with it. Then they go and spread malicious lies, saying that you've done things that you've never done before in your life. And some of these malicious lies, and can be concerning because it could be malicious enough for somebody to come towards you. So be careful who you have connected to you. And if people are doing the most and the worst, then you set those strong boundaries and you reiterate them. And if they don't want to listen to it, then in my case, what I do, I cut off, block, and delete. At this point of the journey, I have no time for it. I used to cry about it a lot, but there's no more tears to give to the situation. I've done 5 years of work on myself, and it doesn't matter who says she's pretending, she's this and that. If I was pretending and doing whatever they said I was doing, my life wouldn't be in the upright. It would be falling apart. And as I draw closer to God and do what I need, I'm not perfect. I have problems and situations like everybody else. But because of my healing, I handle things differently, as, different than I did before in the past, And I don't have time for the BS and the drama and negativity. I learned to stay at a place of healing peace. I go to God about it. And I did a video on Friday, The Power of Silence. There's a lot into that, being silent, because a person can't do anything with your silence. If they're arguing and accusing you of stuff and blah, blah, etc., and you engage in that, then they have ignited the fire. But if you ignore it and keep moving, keep doing you, they cannot ignite that fire because you're diffusing it. And also, with the power of silence, what I'm doing is giving those tons of bricks that I talk about, the metaphor of, because I'm not carrying anyone's burdens anymore. I give all of that to God and tell God, listen, I need to stay focused on my vows and what I said I was going to do. And this person over here, and I name names in my prayers, is trying, because I already know who it is. They think I don't know, but I do. I just ignore it because I'm in prayer with God. Because you know what, guys? God can take care of this much better than I can. And he has been doing so. Because people will try you and do the most and the worst when they can't use or abuse you anymore. They will lie on you, they will gossip, they will do the most. And I went through all that, when I started this journey of healing. And I cried my last tears over it. Now I don't have anything to give to the situation. I just give it to God. I need to stay on this path. I need to, carry out my vows. And then God gets involved, and I'm over here doing me and helping others as I said I would. So there's no need to lie or pretend or any of that, because that's not who I am. So with that being said, guys, know that when you make a decision in your life to change your life for the better, some people are going to be happy and rooting you and motivating you on, and others will be over here hating. Let them hate, let them talk. Just keep moving forward, and you will see the fruits of your hard labor. It may not happen overnight. It will take time, but you will see the fruits of your hard labor if you don't give up on yourself. Sometimes it's better to choose you over the drama and the noise. So with that being said, I'm not a therapist, a social worker, or a counselor. I'm just somebody who's gone through hell and back, and I talk about how I overcome and turn that pain into power instead of succumbing to these trials and tribulations as people thought the haters thought would happen. But God, People forget about God, but God. The title of this discussion today is When You Draw Your Strength from God. I learned, and it took a long time for me to learn this, to draw my strength from God. Some battles are not worth fighting. Give those battles to God, and I'm telling you from my own experience, He will intervene, especially if you made vows, certain specific vows, and someone's trying to stop and block you and do all this. Give all that to God. Go into prayer. What I do is go into a fasting as well and give that to God, and God does the rest while I keep moving forward. Because it's not worth my energy. I'm here to build up, not to tear down. We see a lot of that in this world today. My silence with some individuals is permanent now. I will talk to people, let's resolve this. And sometimes that is the resolution, because some people won't stop. They don't like your light shining. They want you to be a crab at the bottom of the barrel. Misery loves company, and they want to pull you down at the bottom with them. And when you have grown, healed, and evolved, you're not at that same space anymore. And it's not that you're better or anything, but when you know better, you do better. And when you make a choice that you want to heal, grow, and evolve, and you do so, nobody has a right to tell you you can't. Everybody has a choice in this. You can bring the people to the water. You can't make them drink. That is their choice to drink it or not. They have a choice like we all do. Many people have been trying to bring too much negativity to my table. And as I try to talk to them and set these boundaries and stuff, and they start to walk over it, laugh about it, disrespect it, then I get to the point that the resolution is to cut off, block, and delete. That is the resolution in certain situations. It ends now with my permanent silence. Sometimes I'll go silent, until the person gets the situation. But when they keep doing it and doing this, oh, it didn't work, we're going to do it like this, we're going to come to her this way, we're going to stop and block and etc. And then I just go into prayer, cut off, block, and delete, leave people where they are, and stay on my path. It's not worth it. My strength comes from God. And let me tell you, during the beginning of doing all this work, it just felt like drowning, because there was nobody there in the natural to motivate me, to encourage me to stay on this path. I had to lay in all of this by myself. When the people I love and who love me were dying and no longer here. My dog died, one of my best friends, my best friend just died in October. And one of my other friends died during the shutdown, and it just went on and on and on and on. And the people who are left, like family-wise, I don't even deal with them, because it's just they show me who they are. And that's fine, because sometimes the best resolution is to cut off, block, and delete in order to stay at a place of peace instead of broken down into pieces. So some folks are looking at things through the eyes of others instead of looking at things from God's perspective. And what I've learned on this journey so far as well, God does not operate through the eyes of man. Man will look at something and say, "Ooh, why did he choose her or him to do blah, blah, blah." Remember in the Bible with Samson too, they were complaining about him. Oh, he's a womanizer, he's this and that, why did God do this, blah blah, instead of seeing that he was there to help them to get out of that situation that they were in. But they couldn't see that. They were looking at other things in the natural. And God doesn't look at things the same way as we do. God does not do things he does things according to his will. And his word is final. It doesn't matter what people feel, I don't understand, though, why some folks are hell-bent on stopping the growth and healing of other people. If they don't want to grow and heal, that's fine. That's their decision. But don't stop someone who has made a decision to grow, heal, and evolve. just because they don't like it. But when someone is toxic and they like abuse and negativity, they want to drag, like I said, you back to the bottom of the barrel. And this is why it's important to cut certain people off, or just set those strong boundaries, because if you don't take care of you and you're not okay, then you can't take care of anything else around you. And it is better to be at a space of peace, because once you start to heal, grow, and evolve, you start to raise your self-esteem. You start to self-love, self-care. And as you self-love and self-care, you get to a space of unbotheredness. You're not bothered by the noise and the toxicity anymore, because you're so focused on your growth. And then it gets to the point of inner peace. And when you get to the space of inner peace, you want to stay there, because your peace is priceless. Because the drama and the negativity and the noise, you're past all of it. And and people just, I don't know. And when you get to that space, and for me, I was praising God for it, because I was in this bad spot for a long time. Just losing people, things just, sort of like a dark night of the soul. And then, I started, after doing the work diligently, persistently, because it's not easy. I start to see things from a different perspective, how to get through certain situations. One thing I learned is that God will not compromise with those who want to persecute his children. Those who are connected to God, and they have a relationship with him, and they're moving forward to help themselves as well as to help other people. Those trying to interfere with that, it's not okay. Because if they don't want to do the work, that's fine. If they put all that energy, boil all that energy up and put that into healing themselves, they will experience a place of greatness, instead of hating on somebody else and always trying to see what they have going on, instead of, basically, the metaphor I use, trying to eat from somebody else's plate instead of building up their own plate. Especially, trying to distract those who made vows and are fulfilling their purpose just because they don't like it, because they can't bully me anymore. They can't say whatever and do or get me to be subservient anymore, because I'm not that old version of myself anymore. I have grown from that. And now I just set strong boundaries with folks. It is better to leave these folks alone. Like God's word said, God is not to be mocked. What a man sow is what he or she will reap. And if you, whatever, and that I'm going to apply it in this way too. Whatever you manifest in this universe is what you're going to get back. If you're manifesting hate and negativity on somebody else's life, and that person is not bothering you, and that person is uplifting and helping other people so that they can be uplifted, and they are, doing the work, actually really doing the work, and you're trying to stop and block them, guess what you're manifesting in your life? Hate. You're manifesting all those things in your life, So it's better to be on a path to heal those things that make you feel broken inside, or lower self-esteem, or whatever it is. Because I was at a place of low self-esteem for a long time, until I looked at why and did the work. And it was painful. I even had a conversation recently after all this time. I think I've been talking to my therapist since 2021. And I told him something so profound and so painful and hurtful. He was crying throughout the session. And when I talk about the pain and abuse and the negativity I've dealt with all my life, guys, it just, I'm at a place where I'm not dealing with it anymore. And when people, some people come into your life and try to charm you and tell you, etc., and so forth. And I can see right through the deception, because I didn't learn the lessons right away. Like I tell you guys all the time, people, circumstances, and situations come into our lives for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And for me, I had to repeat lessons because I wasn't learning them. So when these lessons try to surface again, I look at it and I say, yeah, no, I already learned that. Close the door, goodbye. Like I had a situation not too long ago. I was at a Cumberland Farms putting gas in a car, and I went in to use the bathroom there and get a coffee. And before I could go inside the store, some guy come up to me, being charming. Oh, you're hot, you're this and that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And he said, oh, yeah, I would like to talk to you. Look, I'm busy going in. He said, I'll wait for you outside. And I already knew it was not something good, guys, because I've learned those lessons. So I come back outside and he's looking at me, and then he said, do you think you can spare some money? I just started hysterically laughing. He must have thought I was crazy or something, but I was laughing because how dumb do you think I am? And I just walked away. There was no words for anything like that, because I already saw that there was a problem with this. When you see a duck, don't call it a dog or a horse or anything else. If it's walking, quacking, and talking like a duck, then it's a duck. I've learned those lessons. Like I said, it took me a long time. And when people do things, just really unbelievable things, I just don't have any words for it. And even dealing with a situation in a professional environment where somebody just don't like you. You've done nothing to these folks. You always been a team player and try to help people out, but they just don't like you. So they try to set you up for failure time again and again, over and over. And I see it for what it is. And what I do, go into prayer, and then I come out of prayer and say, okay, it's time to exercise some silence here and keep my distance. Because when you see people are trying to do things, because some people don't want to grow, heal, and evolve. Some people like drama. Some people are miserable and they want to drag you into a space of misery. And if they see, if you're healing yourself, you're growing, evolving, they don't want to see that. So they want to distract you from it. So they try to put stumbling blocks and all types of things in your way. And this is why I give my power of silence to the situation. Because if I'm a non-participant, it's not gonna go anywhere, because I'm a non-participant. I'm not participating in the BS and toxicity, and I just keep staying focused on what I need to do. I have some notes here. Some people in this world have specific belief about women and their position in this world, etc. and so forth, whether it's a culture thing or whatever it is. However, God will use men and women to fulfill his will or purpose any way he chooses to do so. He does not see things as we do in human form. Oh, you're a woman, you're supposed to stay over here or in the kitchen or here or there. But God will put a purpose in us so that we can help not just ourselves, but help other people. And some people don't believe in that, but that's on them. But nobody gets to tell somebody they have to be A, B, C, D, and E. For a long time, or half a part of my life, I was subservient to everyone and everything until I learned that I mattered, and stop putting my things on a back burner to help somebody else with their tons of bricks. When someone draws their strength from God, guys, they will walk on a certain path. It doesn't matter who likes what or don't like whatever. God will not allow them to be broken, even though they may at times feel pain and discomfort. And what I'm saying about all of this is God will give you the strength to keep moving forward. And I'm talking from experience. There was times where I just felt like I couldn't go on. And God gave me the strength as I go into prayer, as I continue to move forward. And he would take 2, 3, 4, and 5 steps on my behalf as I took a step. And because of that, guys, if I said God loved me enough to do that, then I need to love me to keep moving forward. And that's when I got up out of a place of the depression, the grief, etc., and I started to work on myself. And it took a long time, but I'm at a space where you feel better, you do better. You know, because I draw my strength from God. And I'm not perfect. I have my days, you know. But, you know, I take time to take time on a daily basis for myself. Because as you do that, you feel better, guys. Your mental and physical health is in a better spot as well. And then I go into a space sometimes of isolation and meditation and prayer. And then, like I said, when I come back from that, then I feel rejuvenated. It is important to tune out the noise. Whatever way that you do this healing work, tune out the noise of the toxicity and the abuse, because those who were toxic towards you and they're used to you, if you are like me, being subservient to them, being a doormat, and you change for the better as you do the work. And they don't like that because they can't use you up anymore, you know. And if you stay on this path to heal, grow, and evolve, they can't use you, they can't distract you, they can't get anything from you, because you start to value yourself and know your worth and what's for your highest good. Your healing and prayers will lead you to self-love, guys, and it will an inner peace, which will give you the courage to cut off, block, and delete what no longer serves your life. Be diligent and persistent with your healing. You're going to have days where you're going to feel great and other days you don't. Don't give up on yourself, because if you give up on you, you know, how do you expect to grow, heal, and evolve? Just keep moving forward. You know, it is better, guys, to be at a place of peace and healing than to be broken down into pieces. That's the message today, guys. Continue to take care of you and enjoy your new self. If you guys are healing, you feel better and you're doing better, enjoy that. Don't feel guilty about that. You know, that's a good space to be in, you know. And keep taking care of yourself. And know this, guys, as you do that and you close these doors to these old patterns and old situations, I promise you that God will open up new doors, new people who really care about you, who are going to show you that and be there to help you, to motivate you on this journey. Know that you don't have to be alone in any of this, and continue to show up here. Subscribe to the channel. Every day we're going to talk about different topics that lead to healing and growth, you know, and maybe one or two will resonate with you. And I talk about how I overcame these things instead of succumbing to the pain, turning that pain into power, power into a purpose, purpose into paying it forward to helping myself as I help others through my personal experiences and through my growth. That's the message today, guys. Thank you again for being here. Check out the links I have at the bottom of this video. And those are ways that I self-care as well. Perhaps it will help you. And please subscribe to the channel and invite others to do so. And I'll see you guys sometime tomorrow. Thank you. This is Lisa, shedding love and light. And you guys go and enjoy your day. Bye for now, guys.